Good morning, my brothers and sisters. Welcome to episode number 37 in Be With Me. I'm going to title today, Reliance Before Revelation. I'm only titling that because it has 3 words and I can fit it in the title. But the big point today is, what is faith? We're in the Hall of Fame of Faith chapter. That's Hebrews chapter 11. And today I'm going to try to do my best to give you my understanding what this means. The passage says, now faith is the assurance of things hoped for, the conviction of things not seen. That's Hebrews chapter 11, verse number 1. And then the rest of the chapter gives particular examples. Noah, Abraham, Enoch, all these different biblical heroes, so to speak, men and women from the past, some of which it worked out well for them and some not so good. So here's my best understanding of faith. So the soundbite is, the 3-word answer is, faith is knowing before seeing. It's this assurance before we get the revelation. It's the reliance on God before. It's the before part that really struck me today. So it's the assurance before the appearing. So there's something that has to happen before you have to be trusting in something before you get the promises. So it's trust in the person of God before the promises of God are evident. I think that's my favorite understanding. So faith is the trust in the person of God before the promises of God are evident. So it's trusting in his character before we get the clarity of circumstance. So it's trusting in the person before the promises. All right, so faith is a gift of God. There's no question about that. Ephesians 2:8 and 9 says that. For by grace you have been saved through faith. And this is not your own doing. It is the gift of God. So I'm sure that it is a gift that needs to be received and exercised and then practiced. And this is to take nothing away from the heroes that we're going to read about in chapter 11 in this Hall of Fame of Faith. So we are sure that God had a hand to help them before the exercise of their gift. So there's kind of like a God part, and then there's the person part. So it is the manifestation of the Spirit for the common good. That's another thing that the Bible says about faith. So here we see some who are here today for our own good. So remember Abel. So even though Abel is dead, it says that Abel is still speaking. So after he passed from the world, his faith is still speaking. So think of this. Your faith, or the lack of it, is going to speak for kind of from the grave, at least from this earth. So I suppose that we should credit God for sure. It's only his gift, and part of it is only his. But then on the other hand, part of it is our exercise of that. So today we're going to honor one person, Noah. There's going to be a lot more as time goes. And let's be encouraged by 2 things. Number one, by his part in this, that Noah had some hand in this. So he had a moment where before he could see things, he laid it all on the line for God. For some, it externally turned out well, but we're going to hear about some in this chapter where externally it did not turn out well. So this is not, a prosperity gospel. It's a reality gospel. It's a faith gospel. For some, the circumstances turn out well. For others, it doesn't. Well, let's talk about Noah for a second. Verse 7, by faith Noah, being warned by God concerning events, and then here's the critical part, as yet unseen, and then he's going to tell us how he responded. In reverent fear he constructed an ark, a boat, for the saving of his household. By this he condemned the world and became heir of the righteousness that comes by faith. So Noah is an example of this faith that we're talking about. Remember, we're saying faith is the trust in the person of God before the promises of God are evident. So there was Noah standing on the desert floor, and God says, I'm going to make this flood. And so he trusts in God, and before he sees that actually come true. And in the meantime, he builds this boat and saves his family. So he had faith in something he didn't quite yet see. So this faith changes his behavior now. And similarly, we have opportunities for faith to change our behavior now. Let's talk about, let's say, judgment. Well, let's say judgment is something we don't yet see, but it should be affecting our faith story. So faith is the trust in the person of God, and Noah is a good demonstration of this, before the promises of God is evident. So we're going to let Noah serve as an example. Then there's going to be about, 35 others in this chapter that serve as an example of trusting in God before we see the end result. So from our passage today, we learn that faith speaks now and later. So let's be people who are warmly or desperately receive this gift from God and then exercise, do our part. So do our practice of it, if you will. So my prayer today is that my faith may last and may it help, may it do something, both now, today, yes, but also long after that I'm dead to this world and I'm alive to the next. So may it help now, and may it help my family and other people that know of it. So faith is something that helps before heaven, and then it helps after you leave. So what do people say about people that pass away? Well, they were rich or beautiful or powerful or influential. Well, here in this chapter, we find the Hall of Fame of faith, and we find we talk about one of the characteristics that should be talked about after we die is that this person was faithful. So we have a moment or a series of moments where the people in this chapter are going to lay it all on the line and have faith in something that they don't yet see. Similarly, in our lives, there's going to be a time that each of us is going to lay it on the line for God and have faith in something that we don't yet see. In the meantime, so this before part of it, we have to trust in the person of God before the promises of God are evident. Thanks for listening.